Today, the Supreme Court agreed to take up a major case from Colorado. The justices will review a law that bans conversion therapy for minors. Conversion therapy is a discredited practice that attempts to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Critics say it causes serious emotional harm and can have deadly results. For more, we bring in our 9 News legal analyst, Whitney Traylor. So first of all, this is a legal case, so
Yes.
There's an argument made to be on both sides.
Yep.
So what is it that the Supreme Court is taking up, and what are they going to consider?
Right. So the issue here is, as you said in the lead-in, is what conversion therapy is. And so conversion therapy has been banned in Colorado, and that's essentially when a therapist tries to talk someone out of their chosen sexual orientation or gender identity when it's related to the same sex. So essentially it's trying to, get homosexual people back to a heterosexual place, is that conversion therapy. And in Colorado, we have a ban on that. And so this doctor said, look, I'm informed by my Christianity. That's how I counsel. And without being able to kind of rely on my Christian beliefs, I'm not able to actually properly counsel. And she argued it's a First Amendment violation, saying this is a free speech violation. And the court ruled against her, the lower court, saying, no, this isn't free speech. This is about professional conduct. So they said you can regulate professional conduct, but this isn't free speech issues.
And those who say the ban should continue, do they think there's more to it than just a First Amendment, than more than just conversations and advice from a therapist? There's more to conversion therapy?
Yeah, I think they do from a legal perspective. I think the argument is, one, that it doesn't work, it has been discredited, that it can be harmful to children, that kind of thing. So that's the primary argument. And then, of course, the second argument is that this is just professional conduct. This is, just like we regulate doctors and lawyers and things like that, we can regulate this industry, and this isn't protected speech. And the reason why it's interesting, and the Supreme Court has accepted it, is because there's been a split in the circuits. So all of our appellate courts are divided up, our federal appellate courts, into circuits across the country. 2 circuits have ruled it's protected speech. 2 circuits have ruled it's not protected speech, it's conduct. So now the Supreme Court will accept the case, and once it makes a decision, that'll be binding on everyone.
Probably unfair to describe the Supreme Court as cherry-picking what it does and doesn't take, but let's talk about clearing that hurdle. You talked about the 4 circuits coming up with 2 different opinions each. How do they go about acceptance or passing on a case?
Well, and that's when you hear on the Sunday morning shows, when you heard this phrase of an activist court or a pacifist court. And that gets down to this idea of what is the role of the Supreme Court and the federal courts in general. And the idea is they're supposed to strictly look at cases only dealing with constitutional issues. And so that's more of a pacifist court. And so here, I think the Supreme Court had over 1,000 writs filed last year and accepted less than 100. So they're very selective in the cases they hear. And so here in this case, they felt this is an important enough issue. There's all these different courts that have looked at it, and they've ruled in different ways. We're going to settle the issue. So I'm not surprised that they accepted cert, and especially with this conservative court, the way they've been moving, especially with religious freedom cases and things like that.
Quickly, they accept the case. Any idea when we'll actually have anything?
October, is it? When they hear?
So we'll probably have argument in October, so the next term, and then a decision will probably come out in the summer of 2026. So, or at least by the summer of 2026.
Much more time to learn more about it?
Ways away, yeah. Okay. Well, more time for you to analyze it, the arguments for us. Okay.
Whitney,
we need a few more months.
Thanks as always. Good to see you.